What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Killer Klowns from Outer Space for the third time, and hopefully third time is the charm here. We're going to be talking about if the game is going to show up at Gamescom, and I think this is looking kind of likely. We have a few updates / news stories to kind of go over for this game, a little bit of discussion for the lack of info that we've received, and ultimately, again, why I believe it could be at Gamescom. So we talked about this game about a month and a half ago. I talked about the whole what's going on series I do on this channel, where I take a look at games after 6 months, after a year, and say what in God's name is happening. So I did that with Killer Klowns, and the reception, actually you guys brought new info kind of to the table. So I believe sometime in early July, or maybe it was even late June, they were actually at an event. Now I can't find what this event was. I did find a couple interviews with the studio, but I couldn't find specifically what people in my comments were talking about. That's okay. You can always let me know. But basically what was said is two different things. Number one, there was talk of the beta, that the beta was delayed. I guess they said that. And number two, they said that news would come in July. So obviously they missed that one, because here we are in mid-August and we didn't get anything at any time in July. I continue to check their socials, right? The developers' Twitter, the game itself, I guess it's Twitter, nothing. The game itself hasn't tweeted since March, so it's been a very, very long time since that's appeared. But we're here in August, and beta talk and news in July that didn't happen, I guess, aside, we do have Gamescom obviously on August 22nd. Now, Gamescom should ring a bell for the fans of this game, or people that are kind of interested in what's going on with this game, because that's where this game was revealed last year. I think this is the time. I think it's the time for two different reasons. Number one, because it is a year, well, maybe even 3. It's 1 year. That's a very long time. And I keep saying, and I'm going to be pretty strong on this, it's not necessarily just this game. There's plenty of games that fall under this. But as I keep saying, I hate things like this. I really, when you announce a game to then go silent for, in this case, a year, but there's been games where it's 2 years, 3 years. I hate that stuff. Maybe it's the older that I get. Just announce the game like 5 months before it comes out. That's my preferred way of doing it versus, 2-3 years ahead of time. But this one, I believe, is kind of in a worse spot, because games that get announced and then we don't see them for 2-3 years, that's kind of bad in its own way. But this game, the beta was supposed to be this year, and the game was supposed to also come out this year. So not only has it been a year of complete silence, and there's no guarantee it's shown at Gamescom, so it could be more, 1 year of silence, and the game's also supposed to come out, and they just kind of skipped over it. There's a few games that have done the same thing, and I'm not big on that idea. So it's, again, I'm not singling this game out, but it is a problem, and I wish that we just didn't do it anymore, and yet here we are. So 1 year, the game was shown last Gamescom, but the bigger thing to me is something that Jeff Keeley talked about. Jeff Keeley, who obviously runs Gamescom, does the opening night live stream, which is where we saw Killer Klowns last year. He talked about how this year's Gamescom is going to be more about updates to games that come out in the fall, updates to games that come out over the next year. So that would include 2024 games as well. That is probably the main reason why I think this game has a shot. Games like this, games like Stellar Blade, some games that, or even Transformers Reactivate, games that were supposed to have betas this year or released this year that are just kind of like missing in action, right? Those games, whether they release in the fall, which honestly I don't see it happening. I think even if that beta talk was true, right? They had the beta, it was delayed. That tells me the game is not, Killer Klowns is not coming out this year. So maybe we get a beta this year at the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, I guess the beta is next year and the game is also next year. I can't see it releasing this year. But the good news is, based off of what Jeff said, it doesn't have to come out in the fall. It could come out next year as well. And I think it would qualify, under his criteria to be shown an update. In this case, show something, and whatever you want, truly whatever you want, but give a beta date. Right? That's, to me, that's the big thing. And whatever the gameplay trailer, another trailer in general, whatever you want to show, end it with a beta date. I was going to say release date, not to be confused with the actual game's release date. If we get that, great. If we don't get it, honestly, I'm not really expecting it, so whatever. But I do think it's time. I think it's got a semi-decent shot, a year. They've worked with Jeff before. The game comes out within the next 12 months or so, give or take some, right? And so all that stuff, I think think leads to a very good shot at being at Gamescom. I'll be co-streaming it if you guys want to watch it live with me on Tuesday. We'll be doing that live on the channel, so come by and we'll see if we see the game again. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed, bell icon turned on. If you want to support or follow me anywhere else, my Twitter, my Discord, my other YouTube channels, all the links are in the description below. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you all on the next one.